Hey guys, it's Thalia and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. So as you guys may have seen, I do, planning videos, and I also do my budgets and my sinking funds and things like that. But I really don't, I guess I haven't really talked too much about my debt. I do have debt. I have student loans and a credit card, and this past year, I was able to pay off my car. But I kind of want to keep a running tab for myself and, just to kind of remind myself, what I've done in the month, and kind of, I guess, looking to the next month to kind of see like, okay, this is what I did this month. What could I potentially do next month type of thing. So I'm going to name this, I'm gonna call this one January debt review, and it's pretty much, I'm gonna kind of talk about my debts and how I'm paying off the balance and kind of what I'm doing and things like that. And this can be a space where we bring up other topics. Like I've had people ask me what are good ways to save for an emergency fund, and that's something that we can touch on. And any other topic you guys kind of want to talk about related to debt, I guess. I'm not a financial expert. I'm more of a, I listen to advice, but I follow the beat of my own drum type of person, I guess you could say. So trying to get a permanent marker. So, because this is gonna be messy, I'm gonna do January. I wonder if I can write on this. Debt review. So the thing is, the bad thing, oh, you guys can't even see that, is very zoomed out. Let me go ahead and zoom you guys in. All right, just gonna roll with it. The one thing is I had written down the beginning balance of the debts this month, for the beginning of the month, and I can't find it. So we're gonna do kind of a, give or take estimate of, what we have. So the type of, I guess you call it, debt plan that I have is I am doing the snowball method. But it also happens to also, be the avalanche one, where you list it by, so the debt snowball, if you guys aren't aware, is where you list your debts from smallest to largest, and you start with the smallest one. So you'll pay minimum on everything else, and anything extra that you can throw at debt, you're gonna throw at the smallest one. So then you pay that one off, and you take, what you were paying towards that small debt and put it onto the next one, and so forth until you get to, your last big debt. And then the debt avalanche plan is where you list it from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate, and you work on the highest interest rate first. So the one I'm doing is my credit card. That's what I'm paying off first. I believe it has to have higher interest than my student loans. So I'm tackling that one first, but I want to get rid of it anyways. And in all transparency, honesty, I've paid this credit card off about 5 times. I do really well, and then I use it, and then I pay it off, and then I use it. And you guys might be thinking, well, Thalia, why don't you just rip it up? I'm not a fan of ripping up credit cards. Some may like that idea. That is fine and dandy. But when I first started this journey, I was just me. My family not really live that close to me, and just for my security and my safety, I just knew that if something happened, it was just easier to have a credit card. And not just that, but like, I don't know about y'all, but have you guys ever gone somewhere and it'd be like really sketchy and you're like, I don't really know if I want to use my debit card. I don't have cash on me. Let me just put it on a credit card. That's happened sometimes. Or even if I'm shopping online, I want to use a credit card. It's just easier. Some people take advantage of the points that are involved with credit cards, and they like get it to, I can't even explain that because I don't understand it. But if you guys haven't already, check out the debt-free community on Instagram. They're awesome. But what I will say is take all the information and advice from people with a grain of salt, and think about what is going to be best for you in your journey. Just because somebody says, I can live off of, you know, $50 for 2 weeks of groceries because I'm going to be aggressive and pay my debt, but that's not realistic to you, then don't do it. That is one thing, you know, I can tell you from experience. A lot of people cut down their grocery bill and they're, you know, they're eating rice and beans pretty much all the time. And for me, that's not it. I can't do that. So I knew that, you know, I would still need to lower my grocery bill, but I wasn't going to lower it dramatically. You just need to figure out what's going to work for you. Just because somebody says something is going to work doesn't mean it'll work for you. Everyone has different circumstances. So yeah, anyways, that was a long spiel. So yeah, so my credit card is what I'm going to be paying off first. So write that down. But I will pick up the topic of saving for an emergency fund. I thankfully was in the position where I was able to save an emergency fund within a month. It was just me really just saying, okay, instead of just, you know, spending all this money on random stuff, you know, put it towards your savings or emergency fund. And emergency funds can differ. Some people want $1,000. Some people, you know, if they're single, they're like, oh, okay, I think 1,000 is fine. But just keep in mind, whether you're single, do you have a home? Do you have children? Things of that nature, you can definitely increase it. Some people said 1,000 isn't enough for me. I'm gonna have it at 3,000 or 2,500, whatever it is. What you think is comfortable for you, you know, make that decision. You know, it doesn't have to be 1,000. If you don't think that's enough, then up it, you know, to 15, to 25, whatever it is. So there's that. So if it's just that you're not budgeting, set up your budget first and see if you have the funds to create, you know, at least $1,000. If not, there are definitely a lot of creative ways to save for that. Sorry, I was trying to remember what I was gonna write. One way is creating it as a bill. So as you're budgeting, you know, just as you would put gas or spending or anything like that, go ahead and put in emergency fund, $20, emergency fund, $100, whatever you can do. And don't be upset, because there are people that, you know, are in a different season of life that may have extra to put towards their emergency fund or their debt. Don't compare yourself, because that's just, it's gonna knock you down, and it's gonna put you in a place where it's like, oh, well, should I even start? And that's not the case. You're doing a fantastic job by putting yourself on this journey, by wanting to, you know, do better. So don't compare yourself to other people. They're in different seasons of their life. Somebody may be looking at you and saying, wow, they can only put $50. Oh wow, look at them, they're putting $50 away. Even I can't do that, you know? It's just, there's this one phrase, and I can't even remember, it's like, where you're at is someone else's goal. So don't ever feel bad. It's a journey. It may take you a year, 2 years, 7 years, whatever it is. Just keep striving and pushing towards, you know, what your goal is. So my credit card starting is going to, at the beginning of the month, it was about $2,052 and 7 cents. And I probably should have left a space here, but you know me. And it ended at, and so the ending balance right now, it is $1,478 and 7 cents. So I was able to put, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I was able to put $574 away, or towards it. Oh wait, what am I talking? I'm thinking about the emergency fund. So that's how much I put towards my debt for the credit card. All right, so the next one is Navient. And okay, so first suggestion for saving for an emergency fund was putting it down as a line item on your budget. 2, you can save change. You know, if you've gone ahead and started using the cash method and are paying for things in cash, all that change you get, because let me tell you, you forget how much change there is in the world when you start paying in cash. I just took that and I have it like in a little plastic boot type of thing. And we just put in all of our change there, and then once it fills up, I take it to the bank, and you know, you can either put that towards your emergency fund, or if you already have that fully funded, you can put that towards a debt or an item that you guys need or anything like that. So that is suggestion number 2. Okay, so Navient is one of my student loans, and it started the month at about $12,127.71. And so extra I'm putting on this one. And so this one, what is this? Oh, I already forgot. And it ended at $11,876.96. So I put $250.75. And I can't wait till, but it's just like crazy. I can't wait for these to be gone, but I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already that low. And I remember when maybe it was closer to 20,000. I'm not even sure, but it's crazy to think that it's already getting that low. All right. And then I have a Wells Fargo loan. Oh, this one's the one that I hate the most. So we had, so far for emergency fund saving suggestions, we have putting it down as a line item in your budget. 2 is saving your change. 3, and this one is a common one, and it's not just for your emergency fund, but you can put towards debt, is selling items. You know, go through your clothes. Do you have clothes that you can sell that are in good condition? Do you have items that you're not using that you could sell? Books, electronics, anything of that nature, anything that you can sell. I wasn't too into the selling, to be honest. I did sell some clothes, and I had some like Coach and Michael Kors bags that I didn't use anymore, and Vera Bradley ones, so I sold those, and some Nikes. Apparently those are big. I went to Plato's Closet because I didn't know where else to go, and I wasn't gonna sell it online. So I took it there, and I got like almost $200 out of it, which was really nice. So there's that. And I also sold some of my books, although I will say I regretted that one. I am a huge book lover. I love reading, and I can't read electronically. Like, I can't use a Kindle or anything like that. That doesn't work for me. I just can't do that. I need to hold like a real book. And I ended up selling books because I wanted to, I don't even know what it was for, but I sold my books, and it was one of the saddest days of my life. I was happy that I got some money out of it, but I was so depressed. I was like, my books. So I know that if I have to sell anything again, my books will not be on that list. So, all right, Wells Fargo. So the beginning balance was $20,833.45. Oh my goodness. It is so much. And so keep in mind, I mean, I guess everyone got student loans for different reasons. Mine it included my tuition, and it included like my living expenses. So that's why mine's a bit high. I mean, a bit high, it's a lot high. So yeah, I don't know. I think some people may have just been able to go by with just, taking it out for tuition, but I had to do both, which, kind of sucked, but I did what I had to do. And I've heard a lot of people say that, I don't know how to, I don't want to misspeak, but kind of like they're upset that they got their degree because they got into all this debt. And I understand, because when you're looking at an overwhelming amount of debt, you can be like, oh my gosh, why did I go to school? Why did I do this? Or why, And there's lots of different things you can go into, like segue into different conversations on this. But for me, even though I have all of this debt, I mean, these two, I I'm still very thankful that I was able to go to school, because granted, I probably wouldn't have this amount of debt, but I probably would still have some form of debt. You know, my degree has given me the opportunity to get a job that does, you know, pay me well, and I've done well for myself. And so I'm thankful for that. Do I wish I could have done things differently? Yes. If I could go back and talk to myself as a younger Thalia, I would probably, you know, research more community colleges. But I know that, and I don't know if it's true today, but back then, I mean, I'm saying back then, I graduated from high school like 10 years ago. Community college was like a taboo, like, ooh, you don't want to go to community college. Oh, that's bad. But to be honest, there's nothing wrong with a community college. And the fact that you could have completed all your core classes for the low and not had to have either gone into debt or into as close of debt just for those classes, and then, you know, go your last 2 years, you know, for your major classes at a school, you know, a different school, you know, that would have changed the whole game, you know. But I know that, you know, we go through things in life to kind of teach us things. So, you know, I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, I'm like, if I had just known that. So now when people ask me like, oh, my kid's going into school, like, where did you go to school? I tell them, but I also tell them, like, definitely look into community colleges where you can save money, because in some states, community college is free, and that's amazing. So, you know, whatever way you can. I got a scholarship for like my first year, I think. It wasn't like, it didn't pay like all of my tuition, but it was helpful. So, you know, if it's getting scholarships, grants, whatever it is, like finding a way to at least lessen the cost of going to school. So, and then, let's see. So now the total is $20,532.54. And I paid $391. Now keep in mind, these aren't probably exact numbers, just because, at least the beginning balances, because I can't find the piece of paper. But now, these are the ending balances, so this is what I'm gonna look into when, for next month. So, yeah, so then my total debt is, hold on, I had to pull it up on my phone. $35,013.23. Whoa. That's really crazy. And I know people are like, what? Why are you like acting like that? It's $35,000 worth of debt. You guys, I remember, oh, and I wish I had it. I don't know where it is. But I remember when I think I first tallied my debt up, when I decided to be like really serious. I've been a shopper my entire life, but I've always been pretty decent with money. But I remember the first time I totaled it up, maybe 2 years ago. And this is like, when I first totaled it up 2 years ago, I wasn't like hell-bent on like, I knew I wanted to pay my debt off, but I wasn't like, I'm gonna, you know, be gung-ho and pay it off and, you know, really do this. It took me about a year of going back and forth. So I think like this past year was the first year where I was really like putting a lot of money towards debt. But when I put together this number about 2 years ago, I think it was like $70,000. And I had already paid off a good chunk, because I want to say, with the amount of times I've had to pay my credit card, but then the amount that I had already had previous to before I decided to start like looking into the Dave Ramsey baby steps, which I don't follow completely, I just take what I like. I think my debt was probably a little bit closer to like $90,000. So to see it at $35,000 is freaking amazing. It makes me so excited, because it's like, I don't know, I'm doing it. Like this amount is like the amount that somebody would pay for like a brand new car. And it's like, that's all that's standing between me and debt freedom. It's just like, You know, it's crazy to think, but I'm so excited. And I'm like trying to think of it like that because I'm like, okay, I paid my car off 2.5 years early. Just think about it this way. Let's chug along. Let's do this. So, oh my goodness. So there is my debt. That is what I have for the month of January. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we can plug more of it away next month, but we'll see because I still need to do my taxes. I have a feeling I might owe, so we'll see. That's okay. So as a recap, let's go with ways to save for an emergency fund. So, and I'll probably get these out of order because I already forgot. One is putting it down as a line item in your budget. Go ahead and don't think of it as a, you know, an afterthought. You know, put it down there as a bill. So there's that. 2, you can save your change, save it up, cash it in, put it towards your emergency fund. 3 is selling items, books, clothes, electronics, whatever you're not using and whatever you can sell, sell it. And then 4, I'm gonna give you another one. I see a lot of people in the debt-free community do this, and that is have a side hustle. You know, whether it's, I guess, you know, having another part-time job, maybe even trying to do overtime, or, you know, if you have a hobby that you can, you know, turn into a small business and sell items, I guess you can do that as well. I'm not the one, I'll say I'm not the one for side hustle advice. I don't have a side hustle. I have my job and that's kind of enough. I personally didn't or haven't gotten a side hustle. I don't know if I ever will. Just because, you know, I stress out very easily. So I think having 2 jobs would be stressful for me, and I don't know if it would be worth it. And that's just for me personally. And there's plenty of people that, you know, they'll just do what they can with what they have with their, you know, job and keep it moving. And then there's some people that want to kind of push, you know, a lot faster in their debt journey or their savings journey, and they'll get a side hustle and, you know, save that money or put that money towards that. At the end of the day, if that's something that you're, you know, cool with and you say, hey, I want a side hustle, then I am here supporting you. Go for it. If you don't want a side hustle, I am also here supporting you. Don't do it. You know, it's whatever's gonna be best for you. And for me, I just don't have a side hustle. So to each their own. So yeah, so those are some ideas to get your emergency fund fully funded. Like I said, this is your journey. So if you don't think Dave Ramsey's recommended $1,000 is enough, increase that total. Or if you can only do 500, 500 is better than nothing. You know, make this journey work for you. And if you haven't done so already, if you're on Instagram, you can follow me. I'm Thalia Rose YT on Instagram. But definitely make sure you check out the debt-free community. It's the hashtag debt-free community. And there's tons of advice from people of various backgrounds with various incomes that are very happy and willing to share information with you. They'll share their experiences with you. But like I said, take the information and decide what you're gonna do with it. Just because it works out for somebody doesn't mean it's gonna work out for you. So with that, I will say goodbye and I will see you guys next time.